There are superstar voices on the conservative right that really make a difference every time they write a column or appear on television. And sadly, we couldn't get any of those people tonight, but we do have Kurt Schlichter. He's the senior columnist at Town Hall and author of the brand new book, Inferno. I'm kidding. Everybody loves Kurt Schlichter, my colleague at Town Hall, and honestly, our best columnist. Kurt, thanks for joining us.
Well, it's right that you honor me and praise me.
Yes, exactly. I want to talk about the book in a minute because I'm thrilled with how it's already selling so well and going up the charts just in, what, 12 hours at Amazon.
Here's news. 16 hours, it is 135 on all of Amazon.
That's phenomenal. And you just dropped it last night.
That is faster than wedding night.
Good for you. But I do want to get your take on some things going on in politics today. First of all, for those who don't know, Kurt is a retired colonel for the United States Army. You spent much of that time as part of the National Guard in the state of California, responding to disasters, the earthquake, the Rodney King riots, fires, floods. I know you were watching with your very experienced, trained eye what went down in Florida and how Governor DeSantis handled Hurricane Ian. I'd love your assessment.
I think he did a fantastic job. Now, it's no secret that I admire Ron DeSantis. I think he's a great governor. But I was looking very closely, and so were the liberals. They were looking for any kind of misstep.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking for something a little different. I was looking for the kind of command climate he established, the way he oversaw the planning, and the execution of the disaster response. And I got to say, and I don't want to be one of those super political guys. Well, I mean, not this very moment. Objectively, his response was outstanding. If you notice, for instance, one of the key issues was infrastructure. And a number of major bridges went down. Those bridges are back up.
Yeah.
They're not completely repaired, but they are now passable. And the way you do that is you set your intent. Gentlemen, I expect within 48 hours, this bridge will be established. You need to figure out how that happens. I'm going to check, and I want you to execute. And if you don't, step aside. Your deputy gets a chance to succeed.
Real fast before we move on to your new book, Inferno, that just got released last night. Still concerns over the Pentagon, and I know you've written about this so much over at Town Hall. With regard to the woke movements of the military, the emphasis on inclusion and on equity instead of, killing our enemy and busting up things.
Although I had a fairly typical childhood, took ballet, played violin, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age. When I was 6 years old, one of my moms had an accident that left her paralyzed. Doctors said she might never walk again. But she tapped into my family's pride to get back on her feet, eventually standing at the altar to marry my other mom. With such powerful role models, I finished high school at the top of my class, and then attended UC Davis, where I joined a sorority full of other strong women. But as graduation approached, I began feeling like I'd been handed so much in life, a sorority girl stereotype. Sure, I'd spent my life around inspiring women, but what had I really achieved on my own? One of my sorority sisters was studying abroad in Italy. Another was climbing Mount Everest. I needed my own adventures, my own challenge. And after meeting with an Army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength and maybe shatter some stereotypes along the way. I'm U.S. Army Corporal Emma Malone Lord, and I answered my calling.
Is there any improvement in that regard? Have they gotten the message? What are you hearing?
No, they've doubled down. They're not meeting their recruiting goals. The force is demoralized, and you've got guys like me, and you know a lot of vets, you know a lot of folks who've been in the service, who are in the service now. You're a big military supporter, and you know how much we loved our our branch.
Yeah.
And so it hurts me when young people say, Kurt, do you think I should join the Army? And I have to say, I think you ought to wait a couple years because I don't think you could trust the leadership. I don't think you could trust their guidance. I don't think they are capable. I don't think they care about you.
Does it go beyond the Pentagon, though? I mean, because I expect the Pentagon to be political, but I just assume that what's going on actually in training at the forts and bases around our country and around the world, that those guys just look at that and they laugh and they just do their job.
No, the problem is you can't, because soldiers do what commanders check. All right. If I wanted my maintenance up in my cavalry squadron, and of course in cavalry you're mobile, so maintenance is very important. My guys knew I was going to check maintenance. Maintenance got done. Okay. If you're checking, if you know your boss is checking wokeness, wokeness will get done. It will get done at the expense of other things. Look, leadership, as we were talking about with DeSantis, is about choices and priorities and about standing behind them. If you choose to make this woke garbage your priority, you are saying, I am not going to make priority weapons training. I'm not going to make it medical training. I'm not going to make it other forms of readiness. You've made a choice, and it's a bad choice because, you know, diversity isn't our strength. Unity in the military is our strength.
Kurt, people love your columns, of course, in your writing. You come out with a couple of books every year, a nonfiction book. This year it was We'll Be Back. Great book, and I highly recommend it. But about 7 years ago, you started a novel series, the Kelly Turnbull novels. It started with the first book, People's Republic. Now here you are with the 7th book in the series called Inferno. And if people are not familiar with this world that you've created, give them a thumbnail sketch of who Kelly Turnbull is and what America does he find himself in the not too distant future.
Well, look, Kelly Turnbull's kind of a taciturn military guy who does missions, makes him a great tour guide for an America split in two. There's a red America and a blue America. And he spends a lot of time in blue America. In Inferno, which is my newest one, he spends a lot more time in red America, and we see what it's like. And I didn't want to imagine that human nature had been repealed, Larry. I didn't want to imagine that, well, if we just get our way, everything will be perfect because we're special, perfect people who human nature, and it's greed and power seeking and sometimes stupidity don't affect. So he's dealing with stuff in red America. He's dealing with stuff in blue America. He's dealing with stuff in kind of the wasteland between the Americas. It's a lot of fun. I wrote them to be fun.
They are fun.
I want to read them on
and they're very funny. You couldn't write a book that isn't going to have laughs and funny. And
that's true.
Thank you for the reference to me and my ongoing feud with Val Kilmer. I do love that part of the book too. Thank you for that.
Yes, there are Easter eggs in it. If you are a town hall person, if you are one of us, you're going to find a lot of little Easter eggs that you're going to enjoy. I really enjoy writing these things. I have a good time, and I hope it comes through.
Yeah.
It is now 135 on all of Amazon. That's huge.
Yeah, it is.
And a real tribute to the power of Andrew Breitbart, because he's the guy. You remember, he was very close friends with you. I knew him. He was telling us, go out and make your own culture. Well, I decided to.
Yeah.
And it's got the flavor and the spirit of Andrew. There's a dedication in every book to Andrew Breitbart, because without him, you and I wouldn't be sitting here, and those books wouldn't be on my shelf.
100% true, Kurt. And, this is our second week of this new program, and I've had Andrew Klavan on, I've had David Marcus on, and and we've said the same thing. It's like, conservatives are really good at these documentaries, but we got to get into the fiction realm. We've got to get into storytelling, and dang it, you've done it. And well done. Congratulations. It's Inferno. It's available now. Buy it, and you'll tick off a commie if you do. And and Bill Kristol, because he hates it.
There is a quote by Bill Kristol on the back of each book. Let me read it to you.
Quickly.
Appalling books sadly praised by mainstream media. So you're going to want to get that.
All right.
They were very upset that I wrote books that people actually want to read.
Good. In the words of Andrew Breitbart, you're ticking off all the right people. Kurt Schlichter, my friend, senior columnist at Town Hall, thanks for joining us tonight, and congratulations on the book. I'm Larry O'Connor. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.